Greetings, YouTube. The doctor is in. Dr. Urias Papers here, coming at you with another commentary on Dungeons and Dragons. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you like this video. Hit the like button. If you have any questions or comments, please leave a question or comment. All right, it's time for an installment of the Doctor Spell Prognosis. And today we are talking about the spell Flaming Sphere. We give this one a B+. I actually like this spell. I think it is one of the more useful second level spells. Overall, second level spells are not fantastic. There are a few that are great, but and when I say that, I preface that by talking about spells that can be used in combat as combat spells. This is one of them that can be. So, I'm giving it a B+ for a couple of reasons. It's not an A because it doesn't do fantastic damage, but it does last for an entire minute. You can move it around on the battlefield. It does have a limited area of effect range, and it can affect strategic movement pretty well, and it's usable by a bunch of different classes. So it's usable by druids, wizards, light domain clerics, circle of fire druids who get it automatically. The celestial warlocks and alchemists. I'm not sure why sorcerers are not in here. That doesn't make any sense to me at all. But there are some spells that sorcerers get that wizards don't get, and there are some spells that wizards get that sorcerers don't get. I never really got that for 5th edition. It was pretty much the same list in 3rd edition, but it is what it is. Okay, so it's a second level spell. It's one action. It has a range of 60 feet. That's great, and it is a 5-foot square or 5-foot sphere, but it's it takes up a square itself. It has a verbal, somatic, and material component, which the material component doesn't cost anything, which is fine. Lasts for a minute. It's a dex save. Don't like that, but it's better than a con or a strength save. It does fire damage. I don't like that either, but because there's a lot of creatures that are resistant to fire. So you create a 5-foot diameter sphere that appears within range in an unoccupied space, and it lasts for the duration. Any creature that ends its turn within 5 feet has to make a dex save. They take 2d6 on a failed save and half as much on a successful one. So it forces creatures to figure out where they're going to stand. And if you've got opponents that are in melee range or in melee combat with one of your party members, you can put this behind them, and it will force them to move because they're going to be standing right next to it, and it's either stand next to it and move away, or not. So that it is what it is. But if you can force this to be adjacent to as many creatures as possible, it's better. As a bonus action, so you can't move this more than once around. You can only move it once around because it's a bonus action. You can move the sphere up to 30 feet, which is good. And you can ram it into a creature during that time. So you can move it as a bonus action, ram it into a creature. If I'm going to move it, I would move it in such a way to ram into a creature and then end up adjacent to as many creatures as possible, so they have to make a decision at the end of their turn where they're going to go. And then it stops moving. And of course, they got to make a saving throw. You can move it over barriers up to 5 feet high and over a 10-foot wide space. And it ignites any flammable objects not being worn or carried. So they can't be worn or carried, but you can use this to, if you got opponents that are in a house, like a wood house, and they are, taking cover or whatever, you can put the sphere inside and start it on fire, and they'll have to get out. And it sheds light. So, and of course, you can upcast this, which is actually not bad. So, so this does scale pretty good because of its ability to manipulate the strategic movement of opponents on the battlefield. So, all right, that's what I got for everybody today. I appreciate everybody tuning in, and I will catch everybody later.